So welcome to Kids Around Dogs. I'm Debbie Lacken and I'm the founder of Kids Around Dogs. As you probably know if you're here, we are an association of dog trainers and or behaviourists in the UK that deal with families and their dogs, especially with children, and we teach them how to be around dogs. We also deal with children who are scared of dogs, and we help them to overcome their fear. And part of Kids Around Dogs is the KAD library, which is made of some brilliant books on kids and dogs. And one of the, or actually two of the books in the KAD library have been written by Wendy Keefer. Woo! Thank you for being here tonight, Wendy.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. It's quite exciting.
So it's so great. Something that people don't know is that we met a craft. Hopefully you can remember.
We did.
Is it three years ago now? I think
it'll be 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so long. And I showed up, and we had a photo with this first book. Then you went and brought another book. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, Wendy.
Of course.
First of all, what made you want to be, a dog behaviorist or working with dogs anyway?
Well, I've been a physiotherapist, and only just finally retired completely at the first lockdown last year. But I began life wanting to be a vet, didn't get the grades in school, and considered vet nursing, but at the time in America, it wasn't a job that was progressive. You sort of were qualified to do a certain amount of things, and then you couldn't progress with it. So I was a bit discouraged from that. Then I started studying wildlife research, and long story short, I ended up in the UK and doing physiotherapy. So eventually, as time went on, and I realized that my thumbs were going to give out before long, I kind of decided that I wanted a change of career, and I really wanted to get into working with animals again. And when I was younger, animal behavior wasn't really a course that you could do. It just didn't exist as a subject. Yeah. And so I was quite excited to have the opportunity to train at COPE, which is the Center of Applied Pet Ethology. Nearly forgot there. Which at the time was a course that was part residential. So we studied live. Now that it's all online, as most, a lot of college courses are, but very good, very academic, which I loved. And I qualified as a behaviorist and trainer in 2016, I think. So I was still working part-time as a physio, and continued working just kind of casually, really doing behavioral work, not really advertising myself much or anything, but doing bits and pieces as time went on. And then, like I say, I retired last year and decided that it was time to start doing a bit of actual training, and trying to get more behavior work as well. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing now. And
you're based in York, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm based in York, and I'm doing training classes from it's a dog kennel that has 3 paddocks and an arena that I can rent and work from, and so that's quite good. And then I do behavior work from people's homes and so forth.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
And obviously, you wrote the books as well.
Yes.
What made you think, let's say I'm writing a book, and this was the first one.
That was, yeah.
And this is for children, isn't it?
It is. It's for children from about 4 to 7. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of my idea is that it's sort of read with parents, so parents can be supportive of their children as they learn their just kind of behavior techniques of their own behavior around dogs, and a little bit about understanding dogs' body language and giving dogs choice about approach or going away and that kind of thing. And what got me, well, what sort of gave me the inspiration to write the book was that when I was studying, somewhere along the line, we came across a couple pieces of research, and one was published by the Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, and it was referring to the Dangerous Dogs Act, and it was in part arguing against classifying dogs as dangerous, but or as dangerous breeds.
Yeah.
But in the process, it was talking about dog bites, and how what I found most shocking was that in the 10 years between 2005 and 2015, the number of dog bites had increased, reported dog bites had increased by 76% in the UK, and to a very similar level in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So 50% of those bites were to children, and mostly children under the age of 5, and mostly children under the age of 9, and mostly to boys.
Mm.
So I just thought writing a book that would talk to children and it's something that they could relate to, and something that was be attractive for them was was just something that I felt I could do. So I came across just incidentally an ecologist who is into conservation dogs, and she at some point mentioned that she did illustrations, and we got together and sort of brought forth Hey Dog. And so Hey Dog, Let's Talk was the first one. And then I also felt that it was important to kind of back that up with the second book, which was aimed at parents, but I wanted it to be kind of
this one, by the way,
cheerful and friendly.
I love the title.
So I didn't want to preach at parents. I just wanted to give them ideas.
Yeah.
And so that book has some cartoon illustrations and things to just kind of keep the mood a bit light, and make it readable. Yeah, make it readable and something that I hope parents will find they can relate to. So
it's brilliant as a parent as well, not only a professional, but as a parent. I think it's fantastic because it's not patronizing at all, and very often books of this kind can be can be a little bit patronizing and like telling you what to do, or making you feel like dismal for not knowing that. This is great. It's literally like, it's almost as you're talking to the reader rather than
well, thank you.
Yeah,
that's
love
what
that.
I
Really,
intended.
yeah, really.
I also wanted in that book, I wanted to make sure that people understood they needed to look after the needs of the dog as well.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to be all about the child and all about child safety. I wanted it to be about the dogs and their responsibility towards their dogs, who are their family members as well.
Exactly. That's and that's exactly what KAD is also about. Obviously we need to respect the children. We need to make sure that the child understands, but especially that the child understands the dog, so that the dog is listened to is so important. Otherwise,
absolutely,
we're doing like half the job really effectively. One note on the illustrations, because I think are brilliant. Just wanted to show a couple of the illustrations inside as well. They're so beautiful. And can I just also point something out that very often, because you were talking about boys being the ones mostly being bitten, and it's probably because they're a bit more boisterous. So it does, and also very often they found that books like this are less appealing to boys but more appealing to girls. And it somehow it is because I don't know, maybe because of the colors, because I don't, but I can see that very often like the boys tend to go, I'm generalizing although I don't want to, but the boys I tend to go on something that is more like boyish related rather than girlish. But instead even just the graphics, the illustration side is really, you know, it can appeal to both gender equally, and it shows different size dogs as well, different kind of dogs. So it's, yeah, I can't fault it really. It's brilliant dog.
Thank
you.
you.
Know, I've been an admirer of yours for a while now. You know that.
I have to say that was something that I thought about from the very beginning, and you just reminded me that the publisher, when they first gave me their first design for the cover, it was in pink, and I insisted it had to be changed because I said, you know, rightly or wrongly, that is going to be drawn. Girls are going to be drawn to that. Parents will pick that up thinking it's their daughter's book,
Yeah.
but I want it to be for children, and I particularly want to appeal to boys.
Yeah. Well thought there, really, because it's very often is the case, and I'm not saying that some boys will like pink, but unfortunately, it's what it is. Most of the time, you see pink and you think of a girl.
Yeah.
Regardless of,
society has that ingrained in us.
Yeah. It is what it is. So can I ask you something? It's not exactly dog related as such.
Okay.
But obviously you're an author, so I'm sure you also like reading. Do you have a favorite author? It doesn't have to be in the dog world, but if it is, obviously, go ahead and tell us.
Oh, goodness me.
It's a difficult one.
It is a difficult one because actually, since I started writing for children, and I wanted to do it well, so I signed up for some writing courses and things. And I mean, it's been a while now, and I'm sort of trying to get the dog training business going. I was taking a step back from it all, and I haven't read much for a while, but I have been trying to read a lot of children's books, just partly because maybe they're more my level, but
I love that. I love the children book and young adults.
Just to get a better feel for structure and so forth. But oh my goodness, if I'd known you were going to ask me about books, I would have looked at my bookshelves and tried to come up with some names. I have to say, I quite like David Walliams' books.
Okay, good.
I think he is quite a clever writer, and I like the fact that he's not, he's a little bit rude, that he's he's quite forthcoming and yet very appealing and acceptable.
And he loves dogs as well, doesn't he?
And he loves dogs as well. Yeah. And he's always very kind to animals in his books.
Yeah. And he's just really funny as well. So,
yeah, he is. He's hilarious. But,
in his books, he always seems to make us grown up a little bit silly, which I think kids really like.
A little bit embarrassing.
Fine by me. So what is next for you? Have you got any projects ahead? What are you looking for in the future?
Well, I'm like I say, I'm working on my training and behavior business, and I've been recently trying to focus on reactive dogs, dogs that are either dog aggressive or people aggressive. Mm-hmm. And so I've been doing a lot of additional training for that and additional learning. And that's fascinating, and it is extremely rewarding when you get a good result. But just talking about books, I mean, I did, before I sort of went back to concentrating on over lockdown, there's been sort of swings in different directions. And I have actually written one more story for children about dogs, or a particular dog. And it's, I haven't got as far as sending it to a publisher yet, but I was thinking about it the other day because I think I've had it reviewed a few times, and I think it's probably where I want it. But it's about a boy who has to say goodbye to his old dog.
Oh, right. Oh.
So it's I'm in that story, I try to be quite open and frank about the process, but have it show the sensitive side of it as well. And I wrote it after I lost my old lab a couple of years ago. And but it was a good death, if you know what I mean. So I wanted that to come across. So yeah, I think I'll probably start looking at publishers and where I might send that one for next.
You should, because it is, is an important topic as well. It's a sad one, and we never want to think about it, but it happens,
but it's life, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think I've been told by people who have read it that it's something that would also maybe be helpful for a child who's lost a parent or a human friend or companion as well. So
it's very difficult, and because it's a difficult topic, it's difficult for parents as well to approach it. So very often they don't, because they don't know how to approach it. So it would be so great to have something like this out there to help with the process, with the feeling, to know that those feelings are normal as well.
They are,
So it's very sad, but also very helpful, and hopefully has helped you as well to.
It did actually. It was very emotional, but it was it's good therapy. Just to write about it, and and to feel like if I think I needed to write it, and then I needed to put it aside for a while because I couldn't go back and read it without crying every time. And I think I'm past that point. I actually looked at it recently, and I thought, and then I was able to look at it a bit more of a critical eye, and and see if there were any changes I needed to make. But yeah, I think now I'm probably ready to send it to see if I can get a publisher. So fingers crossed that'd
be great, and be sure to let me know.
I will, definitely. I will.
Thank you. So thank you again for this evening, and Debbie and Jules are wishing us a good evening as well on Facebook. So Wendy, thank you so much for being here this evening. If anyone would like to book the books, they are on Amazon. And
let me say, the Sniffs book isn't on Amazon anymore.
Okay.
But I do have quite a few copies of both of them, and I was going to offer your KAD approved trainers a 25% discount if they order 5 or more books. So if they have groups that they're talking to, or parents who might want to buy the books, then if they want to contact me through my Facebook page, or either through the Facebook page or through my website.
What's
then
the website you want to tell us?
The website is www.heydog.co.uk.
So I'll post the link as well later, and I'll make sure to tell all the KAD approved trainers in case they're missing it now about this great offer. Thank you so much. That's very kind.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Kind of you. Thank you. So then hopefully we'll hear from you soon with a new book, but with all your professional and personal things, I wish you all the best. It's been so lovely to have you here tonight.
Thank you, and thanks so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching as well, and have a lovely evening from Kids Around Dogs. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Wendy. Bye-bye.